serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is The Man Who Ate the Town.
Hi, and thanks for listening to this, the second episode of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. It was supposed to come out on Tuesday, but I'll be honest, the Less Desirable Studios, where I usually record all my podcasts, went through a little move this week. On Monday, I tore everything down, and with the help of my Such and Such Limited and Beer Dad's podcast partners, I started moving the equipment to a new studio on 7th Street here in downtown Winston-Salem called Test Pattern Studio. My son, Trey, helped me on Tuesday to move the rest of the needed accessories into the new digs. We set up everything, and just in time to record the Less Desirables on Wednesday. There's still a bit of stuff to move, but most of the important stuff has been placed where it needs to be. Full disclosure here, I am not recording this episode of the podcast from Test Pattern Studio. Today, I am recording from my house, so if you hear a difference in audio quality or character, then that's why. I wanted to get something out, even if it's a few days later than planned. So let's get into some food news, shall we? Let's open that recipe box. You may remember a few months back when the awesome people and restaurateurs of downtown Winston-Salem came together to open Skippy's Hot Dogs for a week to support owner Mike Rothman. He had been battling brain cancer, so they all come together to open it to raise money for him. Well, if what my friend Carol Leggett says is true, then it seems that Mike has sold that business. And from what I hear, the owner of what I'm assuming is the local franchisee of Firehouse Subs have purchased Skippy's from Mike. All I can find right offhand are the words Firehouse Sub Guys. And from what Carol says, they're likely to also take the space to the east, which is just left of the main entrance there, of the current location to include extra dining space, which is certainly needed because it was really small space. The second best news of it, or worst, according to which school of thought you're in, is that they've also purchased the recipe for the famous pretzel buns that were a staple of Mike's Skippy's Hot Dogs. As I find out more about this, I will report on it. Also, this from the Winston-Salem Journal, it seems an old familiar establishment, at least in name anyway, is going to resurface in the place that it was originally. The Pepper Building on the corner of 4th and Liberty has been sold by Mike Co. to an investment group that will be coordinating a licensing agreement with Intercontinental Hotels Group, or as we in the travel business call it, ICH. And it's going to be used under the Indigo impression that ICH owns. And with that comes a ground floor restaurant that will take the same name of the restaurant that was in the basement for many years. That is called Sir Winston. Now, I've not been here that long. I mean, I've been here 30 years, but I don't know that I ever remember hearing about Sir Winston's Steakhouse. But I do look forward to seeing what they're going to do with it. It's going to be called Sir Winston's Steakhouse and Martini Bar. I suppose that's pretty self-explanatory what it is. I've read some conflicting reports, though, on what's going to go in the old space in the basement to where the original Sir Winston's was. The website skyscraperpage.com says that it will be a restaurant and bar called Prince Albert's, but the Winston-Salem Journal says that it will be called Peppered, that's Pepper apostrophe D, by Sir Winston. I can't dig up what that will mean as far as fare goes, but when I find out more definitively what this is, what it's going to be, and what kind of food they're going to have, again, I will report on it. The big restaurant buzz going around town this past week has been the arrival of Slappy's Chicken. Slappy's Chicken is located at 200 West Acadia Avenue in the old Acadia Grill location. That's over in Washington Park. Scott Brandenburg, who's been involved in the restaurant business for quite a while and has done stints in some of the local food establishments, decided it was time to get back into owning a restaurant. He previously owned a restaurant with his wife, but I'll be honest, I don't know exactly where he said that was. I think he said Brevard, but I'm not going to ask you to take my word on that because I could be wrong. He said he recognized me from around town, and I'm figuring it was from Meridian because I know he worked there for a little bit as a server. and I'm at Meridian a good bit. Scott takes a very simplistic approach to chicken. He fries it, dips it in a special sauce of his own, and then serves it with a side. And you may think that sounds very obvious because what else do you do with it? You fry it, you dip it if you're going to, and then you serve it. That's what most places do, right? But you're right if that is obvious, but I don't think you're getting my point. He only does chicken. His menu consists of 3 items, not counting the dessert and drinks. There's the quarter dark chicken, which is the leg and thigh, quarter white, which is the breast and wing, and the half chicken, which is a combination of all those. Each of those come with 2 sides and a roll. The sides to choose from are mac and cheese, baked beans, collard greens, coleslaw, and potato salad. Pretty much what you'd think you'd want to see while eating, and that you'll want to see accompanying the chicken. The menu also invites you to gaze upon the dessert board for the dessert of the day. The day we went, it was pineapple refrigerator cake. There was, Pepsi products on the fountain, and of course, because you're in North Carolina eating chicken, Cheerwine was on the menu, because why not? The sauce, that's what really makes Slappy's chicken unique. The sauce is sort of barbecue-ish. It's slightly sweet, yet quite spicy. It completely covers the bird. There's a hint of some Cajun seasoning in there, and I'm thinking some honey as well. To the unaware, this can come off as really, really hot. Stephanie, my wife, who doesn't do hot, was sucking a little bit of wind, but she ate the whole thing. She had the quarter dark. She said it was very spicy, but she could handle it. My son Trey likes spicy, and he says it was a bit warm, but also liked it on his quarter dark. I found it myself to be more than what I was expecting at first, but I found it to be more than I was expecting, but not more than I liked, really, I could say. I thought the flavor and the heat profile to be just right once I was acclimated to it. I really liked the sweet heat that came from it. I asked Scott if he made the chicken without the sauce, and he said he most certainly does. Many have asked for it without the sauce on it and sauce on the side. Me being a fan of chicken breast as I am, I will probably opt for that the next time I go, and I certainly will go back. I want to taste the chicken with the sauce, not just the sauce with the chicken. That's not a knock at all on his sauce and the way the chicken is. It's just a matter of tasting the wares for me, knowing what I'm working with. Stephanie had hers with mac and cheese and potato salad. Trey had his with beans and mac and cheese. And I had the mac and cheese and collard greens. Mac and cheese seemed to be the side of choice for the evening, as I saw a few others with it on their plate as well. Now here's the caveat. We were there at 7:40 p.m. They close at 8. We were the next to the last order taken for the evening. In fact, I got the very last quarter white plate. Scott said he's run out of stuff all week because of the run of customers. He didn't realize it was going to be as popular as it was, and he's had a truck there every other day. I knew they weren't going to make a new batch after at least 7 p.m., and I get that, no worries. But I found it to be a little bit dry, but that's okay. Again, I knew what was going on. Someone asked me on Instagram earlier on a scale of 1 to 10, what would I rate the mac and cheese? And I said 5, but I wanted to try it again. Flavor was fine, but again, it was dry. It was the last batch of the evening, and while some may throw up that it should be great no matter what time of day it is, I'm not of that school of thought. I completely get it, and because I plan to go back more than a few times, I'll have it again. I'll rethink my rating after that, and I'll repost it as such. The collards that I had with mine were on point. I added a little vinegar because that's what I do. And I also add a little bit of Texas Pete to the mac and cheese because I do put Texas Pete on my mac and cheese. The decor of the restaurant is old school diner, really is, and there's nothing wrong with that. I believe Scott wanted to keep the history of the place, and the Acadia Grill was a mainstay for a long time in that area. It's updated and clean. There's even an old mantelpiece with mirrors in the second dining room to corral some of that old-time charm, and I like that. I believe that Scott's Slappy's Chicken is exactly what the area needs, the Washington Park area that is. I think the food is fantastic. Just be aware that if you don't like spicy, order the chicken with the sauce on the side. Test it. You may find that you like it on there. Pour it on yourself next time. Order it on there. The sides are simple, but just the way that you want them. I honestly believe that the simplicity of the establishment is what's going to make it work. The less you wrangle with as a customer, the less they wrangle with in the kitchen. And that means less wait and speculation about your food. You want fast and you want quote unquote comfort. And that's what you're getting at Slappy's. It's not called Slappy's Chicken and a bunch of other stuff. It's called Slappy's Chicken. It's simple and it's delicious. And I'll say I have to go here because, I like cliches and stuff. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And that's what I have to say about that. I think I would rate it 4.25 stars out of 5. And if I go back and have the mac and cheese when it's not the last meal of the last batch of the day, I may raise that a little bit, but still 4.25 out of 5. That's not bad at all. So that's all I've got today for the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening. I want to mention our sponsors real quick. The Washington Perk and Provision Company, 2 locations, 228 West Acadia Avenue, and also at 301 West 4th Street, downtown Winston-Salem. They have meat, cheeses, milk, dried foods, Wolfie's custard, a deli that makes sandwiches in the back, Larry's Beans coffee, biscuits in the morning, a wall of alcohol, all kinds of wares. Just about anything that you could want from a convenience store, but it's much better than a convenience store. Try them out again. 228 West Acadia Avenue, 301 West 4th Street, downtown Winston-Salem. Also, listen to the Less Desirables podcast, the Beer Dads podcast, Fan Interference podcast, and coming soon, the Man Who Walked the Town video series. You can find all available shows now on the TLD Network tab on the lessdesirables.com. All the TLD Network shows appreciate you listening, especially this one. In addition to the website, you can find The Man Who Ate the Town on iTunes, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, and coming soon, Stitcher. My name is Tim Beeman, and I thank you for listening. I'm closing the recipe box, and until next time, bon appetit. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the Man Who Ate the Town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.